All right, so thank you everyone. Welcome to the Centralized Access Channels and Services presentation. So if you were with us last year at around May, it's a very similar presentation. However, there's some changes that we've made and some updates. So we are excited to give you an overview of the intake services that the public is free to access. So if you are new, so this will be all new information for you. So the session is an opportunity for you to ask any questions that you have about the range of service options LAO has available today. We also welcome any feedback that you have about how the information is presented. And we will be presenting to other community organizations from across the province with help from our regional partners. So your feedback is extremely important to us. So we have Moyo that will be monitoring the chat for us if any questions come up in the chat. And we also have Maria paying close attention to the time. So we only have about an hour and a half with you today. So I just want to ensure that you get everything that you need today. And a recorded version of the presentation and a copy of the deck will be provided to you as well. So I just wanted to start with the land acknowledgement. So the territory that we now know as Ontario was and is governed by treaties from the peace and friendship treaties to the numbered treaties, all of which bind many nations to share those territories and protect the land in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. This land is home to many Indigenous people, including First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles and responsibilities. We actively acknowledge our nation's commitment to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action, the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit Report's calls for justice. So over the past couple of years, working with many departments in LAO and regional staff, Legal Aid has been working to improve the way we serve clients, including streamlining access, intake, and eligibility processes, and introducing new digital services. So by focusing on widening clients' access points, Legal Aid has made it easier for our client to get the information they need, making applications easier for currently eligible clients, and allowing applicants to go back and update any information made at their point of intake. So to move with changing client capabilities, Legal Aid now offers a variety of ways to connect with us beyond the phone. So the operations division of Legal Aid, in collaboration with many business units, have made significant changes and advancements in the way LAO serves clients. So just our focus today is just helping to ensure that you have the information about the different access channels, especially some of our newer access channels, and options available for more at-risk or vulnerable clients. Our purpose today is to provide you with up-to-date information that may assist you with serving your clients. So we hope this session, after the session, you'll feel equipped to refer clients to our services. So just a quick overview of the certificate program. So the Legal Aid certificate is a document that we provide to our clients that confirms that we will pay for their legal aid lawyer. The client can bring this document to a legal aid lawyer of their choosing to receive the help that they need. So there are 6 key areas of law that are covered under the certificate program. So the first is defense of criminal charges, where there is a risk of incarceration if convicted. So there's also coverage for Ontario Review Board coverage and appeal of conviction and sentence matters. And then we have our family coverage. So this includes decision-making responsibility, parenting time, support, appeal of decisions. And then we have our child protection coverage that includes supervision orders, voluntary care agreements, interim and extended society care, status reviews, and appeal of final court orders. And just as a reminder, while Indigenous communities respond to a new way of conducting child protection services, Legal Aid will address the new needs of Indigenous children under an act respecting First Nations, Inuit and Métis children, youth, and families that came into force in January of 2020. The Act applies to child and family services provided in relation to all Indigenous children, regardless of where they reside in Canada. Legal Aid will be establishing a full spectrum of coverage and service offerings outside of what we already provide, and will update the public as these coverages are determined in the future. And then we have our refugee and immigration coverage. So this includes basis of claim, refugee hearings, humanitarian compassionate ground applications, judicial review of decisions, as well as our mental health. So again, Ontario Review Board hearings are included in that coverage, as well as consent and capacity hearings. And then finally, prison law coverage, including parole hearings, disciplinary matters, internal transfers, etc. Moving on, so these are our primary access channels that we'll talk about today. So within each access channel, there are various client service options available within each. So the first one is one you may be more familiar with is our contact center. So this is our most commonly known access point. The next is our live chat. So this is our newest access point. Right now, certificate applications are not processed through this channel, but our chat staff can provide basic information for individuals to help them understand LAO services, including the certificate program. And then we have our client portal. This is our online self-service option. And Legal Aid is continually enhancing this channel. We will be providing a demo during this session to highlight some of the functions that are available. And then we have our assisted applications. So these are forms that lawyers and stakeholders, select stakeholders can email LAO to facilitate a certificate application on behalf of their client. So we will speak to who is best suited in using these access points as we progress through our presentation. So this is just a brief explanation of these symbols. You'll see them throughout the presentation. These will be displayed for each channel. Notice that, but we will note that accessibility is a priority for all certificate intake channels, but we are going to highlight the best channels based on these accessibility needs. So you will see these symbols highlighted throughout. So the first one is the bell relay. So clients can access the service that supports communication by phone between hearing people and people who are deaf, deafened, hard of hearing, or those with speech difficulties. And then we have our bilingual service. So under our French Language Services Act, the public has the right to communicate with and receive services from Legal Aid in French and not through interpretation in designated bilingual areas of the province. And then we have our interpretation service. So Legal Aid will provide and fund an interpreter for clients meeting and speaking with LAO staff. And then we have for visual impairments or clients with visual impairment, materials are available on request in accessible formats such as large print, braille, audio, etc. So I will be speaking to the contact center portion for this afternoon session. So the contact center offers services over the phone, and the service is available Monday to Friday during regular business hours, so from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This channel is best suited for those who prefer to speak to someone and in real time. And then we have real-time interpretation that's available for those whose first language is not English or French. Just a quick note about our interpretation service or language services. For any scheduled services with an interpreter using our service or the service we use, which is MCAIS, they would need a longer time frame to confirm an interpreter, so about three plus weeks. And for immediate phone service, We may seek longer than usual wait times, depending on the rarity of the language. Regarding certificate lawyers, we do provide coverage for interpretation on certificates, with some automatic coverage and some that require authorization. So this channel screens out at the general inquiry stage those that aren't suitable for LAO services, but we do provide referrals to services within the community. And we also provide services within LAO, including referrals to our summer legal advice service. That's for family and criminal matters. And then we also can refer to clinic and external services. This channel also processes certificates for all matters within our coverage areas. Most clients will receive a decision on eligibility within the same day. This also provides full support for immediate and longer-term client needs, including requests for review of certificate application decisions and change of lawyer applications. So this channel also has a dedicated in-custody phone service where wait times are reduced due to these clients not having a lot of time on the phone. So although this is our most comprehensive service channel, the service is restricted to regular business hours, which may not work for everybody. And so I just wanted to get a little bit of information about our change of lawyer process. So this is the channel where you can access that change of lawyer request. So client would contact the contact center and apply for a change of lawyer. We do stress that this should be a rare and exceptional request. But when this does happen, both the client and the lawyer have to complete a form that is assessed by LAO. Decisions may take up to 6 weeks to process, and the client is expected to repair any minor breakdowns in the relationship. So change of lawyer is an assessment process, so it may not be approved. So sometimes we hear from stakeholders that a lawyer may not be, or a lawyer is non-responsive. So non-responsive would suggest that the client should contact the lawyer and find out why there's been no response. So if a lawyer of choice does not respond, that this can form part of the request for a change of lawyer. And after the change of lawyer is initiated, the person may make a complaint about the services not received. Just want to see if there's any questions before I proceed.
I think you're okay.
Okay. So I'm going to pass over to Catherine. She's going to talk about the summary legal advice.
The Criminal Advice Callback Service provides information and advice regarding first appearances or any court appearances where there would be a charge resolution, such as a plea, a sentencing, or a diversion, as well as it helps with transferring charges to another jurisdiction, how to connect with duty counsel for additional services, and what can happen at, say, a first appearance or a Crown pretrial, or other questions about the procedures in criminal, and then also the consequences of various sentences. Our Family Law Advice Callback Service provides information regarding initial applications for support, and then be the topics of decision making, parenting time, contact. It will also assist with motions to change. So if there's been a final order, but someone needs to make some changes, it will help people get started with understanding how that process will work, as well as it will answer some basic questions about divorce. It will also answer questions about mobility and paternity issues. The contact center also facilitates the lawyer advice service, which is live between 8:30 and 4:15 for emergency family law needs. And the clients that use this service may be experiencing domestic violence at the time they make the call. They might have a limited call window or because of a safety concern, or see CAS may have notified them that they're going to remove a child and that they need to get some questions answered immediately. As well, they might be calling from outside a jurisdiction and wanting to ask questions about Ontario law. This emergency advice queue is for clients who are calling, can be for clients who are calling with a support person because perhaps they're experiencing some mental health challenges. They might be finding it difficult to coordinate with our callback service. Perhaps they're unhoused or they're an inpatient at a hospital, or they may be using a service provider's phone because they don't have access to some of the technological resources. So that would be the type of call that you could assist with on our emergency advice queue. If there are not any questions, then I'll pass it back to Jacqueline to move us along.
Hi, Catherine, I do have a question.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead, Jess.
wondering, are you guys tracking the types of calls that are coming in for the emergency line?
That's a good question. I actually don't know, and I can't imagine that we wouldn't, because for all our duty counsel services, we have recorded codes that keep track of the service. And so our emergency line or that queue would also be keeping track. Whether they do anything beyond that basic duty counsel records that are kept for coding, I don't know. Is there a particular interest that might be related to? Or?
Well, obviously we have a wide scope of the types of justice interventions we offer, but I'd be interested to know how many calls are coming in related to intimate partner violence or child apprehension. That would be none, but then I guess like we would also be interested, really our mandate is urban Indigenous. So I guess if you did segregate your data that way, I don't know if you do, but it would be interesting to kind of see if that's a trend or if that's a service that's utilized, or perhaps we can encourage the use and promote the phone number as a service.
Well, I think that's part of where hopefully the takeaway for you here is to know that emergency service can be asked for. And sometimes they need a bit of assistance in queuing up or asking for it, right? So the right words to say as opposed to the callback service maybe, right? So what I can try and do, Janesse, is I can try and find out about if there's any statistics available and then try and share those with you. Might take me a little bit of a while to get back to you, but
no
I'll follow up. Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Any other questions?
I don't see anyone with a hand up. I think we're okay.
All right. I think we're all watching the chat too. So Moya's giving us a pass also. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about chat. So this is our newest access point. So this channel is available in English and French. And we have live representatives available to respond to general inquiries on the external website. Chat staff do not ask any personal or case-related information during the chat interaction. Clients have the ability to print or email themselves a copy of the transcript, as well as provide feedback about the service that they received at the end of their interaction. So the chat bubble is available on all 300 pages of our website, and currently it's available from 9 to 5. So our average wait time to speak with chat staff is about 16 seconds. And we receive about 64 chats per day, which is potentially 64 less calls that we're getting at the contact center. So feel free to promote this chat feature on our website for any clients that have any questions about our services. So although this channel offers chat support, its services are limited to information only at this point, and it's also only during regular business hours. So it may require also another channel to progress matters if they're looking to apply for a certificate. So this may not be suitable for all. Any questions about chat? Okay. So Pat, I'll just talk a little bit about our Find a Lawyer tool. So this is also available on our website. You can also access this tool through the client portal. So this is the tool that clients use to find a lawyer that accepts certificates. Staff at Legal Aid cannot make specific referrals to lawyers, certificate lawyers. However, agencies outside of LAO that support clients can make referrals. So right now, we're in the process of improving this tool, and one of the main pieces of this is language selection. So the best practice when finding a lawyer is to call the offices as located on this tool, and ask the office if they know of anyone in the area that is taking referrals, if they aren't able to accept the certificate, and make sure to keep a written note as to each call outcome. If all of the names within a reasonable distance have been exhausted, the client can contact the local area office and indicate they're having an issue with finding a certificate lawyer. If they're in another area of law outside of family, they can have the Director General review the file to see if a Director General can make a connection to a lawyer. So John will demo part of this tool during the demo, so I will pass it over to John.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Okay, so my portion is discussing the client portal. So it's a tool that you can access on our external website, and it's available 24/7, 365. Of course, there's those brief operational windows where we're upgrading or doing some server refresh, but it's actually very stable, and we've had virtually no outages other than scheduled ones. So it's performing really well. We're up to just shy of 70,000 applications processed via the client portal, with about 280,000 attempts in addition to the 70 that have been processed. We had a mandate of clearly eligible, and that's kind of why we've, under those 280,000, they've been off-ramped back to call the call center, just because their issue still, while very possibly eligible for legal aid services, is just under the client portal risk mitigation strategy, has just have a very narrow scope, which we're looking to expand as we speak. So we have functions, as Jacqueline just mentioned. We have to find a lawyer. You can update your own personal information opposed to having to call previously. You can upload documents that Legal Aid is asking, or you want Legal Aid to become aware of. You can electronically sign your consent declaration, which is a part of almost all of our applications. You can check the status of your application throughout the day, anytime, to see what the final decision was. And of course, we have the ability to apply online. So with that said, I'll share my screen and kind of do a walkthrough. And if there's at any point in time, anybody has questions or want me to double back to it, please let me know. I'm just watching this process, and hopefully my screen will be sharing momentarily. Hopefully you're seeing it now. So this is our client portal login page. As I said, you can access it via our Legal Aid Online. And so there are 3 distinct client groups that access the client portal. First group is they've had to have services rendered by Legal Aid in the past. They know their client number, and they've already done the onboarding process for the portal. So just like any website, they simply come in, enter their user ID, which can either be their email address or their Legal Aid client number, enter a password, click sign in, and they're into the website after they do the two-factor authentication. Is there a question there? I don't know if that's just a discussion.
I think someone
Okay.
was just off mute.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. And if there is questions, please just jump in and let me know. So that's how, obviously, our group 1 clients, they're members of the client portal. They just user ID, password, sign in, two-factor authentication. They're on their homepage, and off they go to whatever task they wish to accomplish. Our second group and third group require, because the second group is they've been with legal aid, they have a client number, but they've yet to log into the client portal in the past. And our third group is I'm brand new to legal aid. I have no relationship with legal aid whatsoever. Both groups would come into the homepage and click new to the client portal, get started here. They click here and they're greeted with a little message, just kind of stuff I was chatting about. You can apply for legal aid. You can check the status of your application. You can upload documents. And if you want to make an application, we cover family law, children's aid, criminal or refugee and immigration matters. If it's outside of any of those 4 major legal matter types, they can still be eligible for legal aid. They just would need to call us. They can't own property. And again, you can own property and still be eligible for legal aid. We'd probably put a lien on that property to the next time you sell or refinance your property, those funds could be extracted at that time if a final account has been submitted. But for the client portal at this time, if you own property, we're going to route you back to our contact center. You must be in receipt of either Ontario Works or ODSP, or that you have no source of income as you're brand new to Canada. You have no source of income and you're currently staying in a shelter. And lastly, no income as you're currently in custody in jail. So those are kind of our parameters to navigate the application process. So we click continue. Everything on the portal is completely bilingual. So you have the opportunity to proceed in English or French. Select English, click next. And now what we consider as our pre-screening questions. So at this time, you'll notice I haven't told legal aid who I am, where I live. That's all to come down the road. We're just asking questions to ensure that this is something potentially eligible for legal aid prior to us making you enter all your information, and then asking a question. And then on the second question, you're told, oh, you need to call us after you just spent X amount of time creating a profile within the client portal. So have you applied for legal aid before? If I say yes and click next, they're going to ask for the client number. Once the client enters their client number and clicks next, a couple things will happen. It's going to check, is that a legitimate client number with Legal Aid Ontario? Oh, it is. Great. Next step, does it have a client portal profile? If it does, it's going to give a message, hey, come back to the login page because you just need to log in. If it doesn't, it's going to allow you to proceed with more pre-screening questions and then do a validation match of name, address, date of birth, and it has to be very specific. And it has, so if I entered John the first time I applied and now I'm typing in Jonathan, it will fail. It will tell you to call. And if you've moved subsequent, that address needs to match. And we'll even give you a message saying, hey, make sure you put in the address that Legal Aid Ontario would have on record. So that's just how that opportunity is. But if I say no, I'm brand new to legal aid. I have no relationship, and this is how we proceed. So because I'm brand new, next question, what do you want to do? So it's make a new application and other. Make a new application is the only thing available to me because I'm brand new. I can't upload a document to a system I have no relationship with. I can't check my status. I can't upload. I can't change my profile information. Again, because there's no record of me at this time. So my only opportunity is to make a new application as a brand new individual. Do you live in Ontario? I click yes, because if I said no, it's going to ask to call. Again, you can be calling from BC and you need services, and we have reciprocity non-resident agreements. But for the client portal at this time, you must reside in Ontario. Income, like I mentioned, OW, ODSP. If you selected I'm a youth living with a parent or a caregiver, immediately we're going to want to ensure that the parent and or a caregiver is in receipt of OW or ODSP, and they're not working, because that will require an assessment and that will lie with our contact center. I have no income, I'm in jail, no income, I'm new to Canada, no income, I'm living in a shelter. I know in the past you guys have asked amazing questions, and I have no income. I'm currently staying on my friend's couch. I have no income. I'm currently homeless. houseless. Those individuals, while 90+% will be eligible financially for legal aid, they have a lot of follow-up questions, a lot of nuanced questions, merit-based questions to ask. We just don't have that functionality built into the portal at this time. So if the clients happen to be, no, I'm just staying at friends' couches every couple of nights, I move on, that's a person that probably needs to speak with us, and then we can process them during one of our representatives at the contact center. For our demonstration, I'll just select them on Ontario Works. Click next. Do you own any real estate? I do not. If I said yes, we'd be asked to call. Is my legal matter in Ontario? It is. And what type of legal cases do you have? So we have the criminal charges, family, children's aid, refugee and immigration, and other. So if it was a landlord and tenant matter, they wanted to appeal a tribunal decision and it would land under other, they're going to have to call us if that's the message they would receive. Is there any preference from anybody on the call, whether they would like to see criminal, family, children's aid, or refugee and immigration, to see the questions that we ask? I'll just.
I would say maybe family.
Okay.
We do have a combined court worker on the call.
Amazing. Thank you. So family, oops. So what do you need help with? Starting or responding to a family court case, changing a family court order, or other? Other is definitely going to call, changing a family court order, like variation proceedings. We'll have some questions there, but I'll just go on the most used stream of questions. All these are branch scripts. So depending on what you answer, will drive you to the next question. So starting or responding to a family court case, select next. So the fact that I indicated that's a family law matter, immediately we're going to delve into our domestic violence questions. Now, I know, again, we've had some great feedback on these questions. We have a committee ongoing with this right now. We're debating. So we have these 3 questions. The client always had the opportunity to answer yes, no, or do not wish to answer for all 3. 1 yes indicates to legal aid that this individual is what we consider a domestic violence client, a DV client. So there is discussions to whether or not the data that we're collecting on questions 2 and 3, if yes is answered, is that beneficial, or is the mere fact that they've said yes to number 1, 2 and 3 don't need to be asked, and we're not re-traumatizing our clients, and we can just ask one question. It's answered yes, we can proceed. If they answer no or do not wish to answer, we can go to number 2, and conversely, lastly, if 3 is necessary to proceed to determine that DV status. So just because I've said that isn't in functionality right now, so I need to answer all 3 to proceed. I'll click next. So this client is definitely flagged as domestic violence. Do you have a final court order involving the same person? Anytime you see a question mark there, we have a little help text there in plain language. I know Catherine, could write an essay 20 pages long on what is the actual definition of a final court order. This is just, 8 words or so that we had to just simplify so client's comprehension is maximized. So I do not have a final court order. Click next. What type of family law issues do you need help with? So we know that it's parenting time, decision-making, those terminologies currently within the Family Law Act, but we found in our user experience testing, those terms weren't meaningful to individuals. So we are keeping the same, we'll call it older or out-of-date terminologies that people are more, it resonates more with people. So custody, access, and a restraining order. Click next. Any one of those check marks that I select, in the background, the system is seeing that check mark and saying, okay, we need to give lawyer X this coverage now to ensure that they can deal with that matter. Oh, you checked division of property, we need to do this as well. So every check mark has a driving impact to the wordings and coverage that the lawyer will receive if the client is deemed eligible. Do the other party agree on all family law issues? Unfortunately, we do not. Do you think you can communicate and come to an agreement with the other party? Unfortunately, no. And again, all these yes, no's are driving outcome as well. So now I've finished the pre-screening. The client has the opportunity to review all the questions and their subsequent responses. They have the opportunity to change a response. I think it was your group that had the great feedback that this almost looks like a check mark, not something that they would recognize as something to click to edit. And that's something we've flagged in future enhancements to change this to maybe even just read, click to edit, just like it sees there when you hover over it. So any feedback like that is incredibly helpful and makes me look like I've come up with these good ideas myself. Don't worry, I always give you guys credit. So they scroll through, see everything there. Everything is accurate. They can click next. And because I'm brand new now, this is my first opportunity to enter information into the system.
There's a question, John,
Please.
from Violet.
Hi, Violet.
Just hang on for a minute. Okay. Going back to that question about owning a house.
Yes.
On First Nations, because some people don't own their house. Sometimes they rent it, but some of them are like private ownerships or whatever. But how do you respond to that question?
That's a great question. And I know we've had this come up before, and I'm 90, I will get back to you definitively, but I'm confident you answering no is okay.
Okay.
I don't think we can pursue any lien agreements against those properties. And that's a real driving force behind it. But we'll definitely take note of that and answer back to the group as a whole. That's a great question. Thank you. So just continuing on, mobile number. Oh, there we go. Jenna has confirmed for us we cannot take liens on properties on reserve. So saying no to that question is okay, is accurate to what legally is asking. So
yeah, I think
thank
it's
you
a good takeaway, though, that we might want to put a little message in there, right?
100%.
That's for your team anyway, John. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great. So if the client indicates their mobile number, writes it down, it's imperative that they hit this checkbox here. And all that's going to do is we'll see that shortly. This gives them the ability to receive their two-factor authentication for subsequent logins and the onboarding process via their mobile device as a text, opposed to just getting an email. So that's what that is doing. And we have on the client portal, postal code is mandatory. Now, for some of our clients, lots of our clients that call us, our clients have no fixed address, and we can accommodate that without an issue. There's our actual reason. So the postal code, we have every postal code mapped to one of our legal aid offices across the entire province. So every postal code is mapped to one office. So that's why it's mandatory. We didn't want the clients to have to pick off, which office is more meaningful to you and select it. There was budgetary concerns at that time. There was a whole host of reasons why we were trying to be as accurate as possible with it. It's not something we love to have that mandatory, but if it happens for your clients, having a mailing address is probably the best route to go so that they can put a postal code. If they were to put a postal code that, they follow the right format, like Santa Claus, ho, ho, ho. Actually, I don't know if that's a real, I don't think that's on our list, definitely not. But it will accept it, allow you to advance, but it's going to take that client out of the possibility of receiving an automated decision. That's kind of the outcome, and we'll route it to our Toronto area office as a default location, which the decision legal aid made.
So what about if a client doesn't have a mailing address either? So what's the recommendation?
If they have a lawyer, I would put the
Mhm.
lawyer's address. If there's a secure family member, if that's not available, whether you guys are helping them, they use your address? It's a great question, and I wish there was one concrete answer, but there's so many variables in these situations. But and if there's nowhere they don't feel comfortable putting, unfortunately, I think they would have to almost call us. I don't know any other option. But I mean, if they put in fictitiously created right format postal code, it will accept it. It's just going to send it to a work list opposed to making the decision on the spot. That's the downside of that, not having the postal code.
What if they just put in the postal code for the local legal aid office?
Yes.
Will that still get them the automated answer?
It could, yes, absolutely. As long as it's recognized, like we see M4B 2P3, that's Toronto, that's AO46. It's M1C 3C4, okay, that's Scarborough, that's AO52.
Okay.
It just knows where to grab it. And yeah, if it's a valid one, because it's not doing an association back to the address line 1. Like, oh, that doesn't match. That can't be right. We're looking to build it where you start typing and you get the Canada Post thing, filling it in, and oh, there it is. That's my address. That's what I need to do. So that's a great point. So we're confirming my email. So I'm not going to just jump onto my inbox that has a bunch of stuff waiting for me. Here is the document the client will receive, the email confirmation. This is something, again, we're looking to completely revamp. There's a lot of information. It's also there completely in French as well. So the client clicks here to confirm your email. A secondary page will display. Thank you for confirming your email address. So we just have to click here again. I agree, confirm my email. And once this is clicked, the system's doing a bunch of things in the background, and it's checking if it recognizes that email address. If it's brand new to the system, it's going to make the user ID the email. If it recognizes it, because that's mine, and this is a test environment, and my email is all over this thing, it's going to create a new client number for us. So we'll come back to my inbox, and here is the portal invitation email. And you can see here now my login user ID is a new client number. And I click here, please activate your account. So we come back to the login page where we started. The user ID, I just paste in there. And I'm just going to jump back to the password. So this is our temporary password. And just a quick note for everybody. Normally, when we want to copy anything, we just double click and it highlights everything. This password, you'll note that exclamation mark is not being highlighted. So there's been instances where people call us and, hey, why isn't it working? That's important, especially on a handheld device. You might not see that. I just know to look for it. Trust me, it took us a long time to figure out why it wasn't working. And again, something we're looking to resolve much sooner than later. So the password is a temporary password. We enter it here and click sign in. And now the two-factor authentication, this will happen every time they log in going forward. So they can get it via email or they can get it text. I put in a fictitious mobile device number, so I'm just going to click email so we can all see it, the process. So once that just arrived, oops, sorry, let me get out of there. Here we go. So we can see here 2115 is my authentication code. 2115, continue. Now, because I'm brand new, I'm going to see the terms and conditions, just like when you download a new app or anything. This is your one time you're going to see this appear for you. So terms and conditions, of course, diligently read and digested. We scroll to the ends and we click accept. And this page is something that I think we now have consensus to get rid of again in the future. So they're going to have to enter the date of birth, and they're thinking, why I just entered that. Why is this necessary? At the time when we're building it, it was deemed something to mitigate the threat risk assessment, privacy impact assessment. We had to have this entered in there. Just like we're asking here. So activation code, oh yeah, it's 2115. I remember that. I just entered that in and clicked submit. Oh, invalid code. What they're actually asking for is they need a second two-factor authentication. This is just going to happen this one time, but they need to click email and a brand new one's going to be generated. And they come in and pick up a new one. So you saw 2115 there. Now it's 5755. So I come back here, 5755, click submit, and now I'm here. So again, another enhancement for us. Current password, what does that mean? Is it the 5155 I just entered? No, it's the one from the email address. Excuse me, from the email, the portal invitation via email. So I still have that there. Current password, you can just hit that I to see what it was. Now they're entering their own secure password that fits our threshold. So I'll put it a very secure welcome $123 and the password recovery question. They have 5 options. We're looking to expand this also. I'll just pick what city. And click submit. So we can get a message, password successfully recovered or retrieved and saved. So now they're just finishing off their application. First question, gender identity. We've gotten some great feedback, I know, from your group. This I have in a working group as we speak for gender. What we now call Aboriginal self-identifying question is being changed to Indigenous self-identifying questions, which we'll get to momentarily. And our race-based questions, there's all new functionality that were included here, but as it stands today, these are the 3 options at this time. This will be 100% be changing from the feedback we've received. Current immigration status, these are one-to-one with our we'll call it home system of PeopleSoft, Oracle. These are the values that map one-to-one. So whatever is applicable for the client, they select. Click next. Here is our Indigenous self-identifying question. So just so you guys know, we had situations where if I say yes, and what is other? What does that mean? What is the opportunity? Can we add more options there? So we're definitely doing that. We're giving the options to enter free text and monitor that, and then add those ones that are newly added. Or we see, oh, there's 10, 15 of these. We really need to enter this new value as an option and not make them select it. First Nation, for example, today when that's selected, status, non-status, on reserve, off reserve. These were requirements for us when we first built this. Krista Big Canoe and myself did this many, many years ago. It was, I don't know, it was, you know, it was mandated. We asked these questions. That isn't the case now. Is it necessary? Do we get the information we're receiving? Is it valuable? Is there anything that we're gleaning from this? If the decision is no, and the mere understanding that we are servicing this individual who is First Nation, and these questions are just more evasive than informative, we will remove these. If they are still valuable and informative, we will definitely save these. And if more questions need to be added, we'll add them as well. And of course, you guys, I'm sure, will be looped in and asked to give your feedback and see which direction we should be pursuing.
John, I
So,
had a question. Did we,
please.
when we were talking about it the first time, did we talk about do you identify, did we ever mention adding urban Indigenous?
I don't think we ever had that as an option or mentioned, but that's, if that's something that's helpful, that we could definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see that as, where would do you identify as, so the yes, no, so where would you want that included up here, or if yes, have urban Indigenous there? Like, where would you see that being the most helpful and meaningful?
Well, I would say like the First Nation at the bottom, if that was like complete, do you still need to collect that data?
Today, yes, correct. Yes, we
Yeah.
definitely,
Oh,
I
okay.
need to, if I went next, it's going to say, hey, please select an answer.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where like I'm inclined to say at the very beginning, but I
Okay.
also think there needs to be like almost like a hover where it further defines what we mean by each
Right.
group.
Right. We have this definition up here that can maybe be expanded as well to include that. But to your point, when we see user experience testing and stuff, do they read this always? Maybe, maybe not. But urban Indigenous, that's wonderful. And I'm ensuring, I know we are recording this and we can refer back, but I know notes are being taken as well. Thank you. That's a wonderful point.
Yeah, no problem. And
Awesome.
I would add unsure.
Yes, unsure. And also we wanted to give the opportunity to say prefer not to answer, which we've mentioned in our earlier sessions, because right now, yes and no, you must give one of those two, while you'll see shortly when I click through this, the race-based question gives that opportunity to say, just like our domestic violence, I prefer not to answer. So absolutely. And unsure is great too.
Yes. Martha, do you want to clarify your question?
Oh, I didn't see it. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was an option to self-identify. I know that happens a lot here in the Sioux, so I was just wondering if that's something.
To self-identify? Was that?
Yeah, do you self-identify as First Nation?
So how close is this question here? Because this is being answered by our client. So this is a client portal. So you guys could be assisting them and you'd be relaying it, but is that kind of, because this is
that is the mechanism that they would identify, Martha, is like through these like questions.
Right.
And we're just like, for ease of reference, trying to ensure that all the options are offered for people. So so it's not just cut and dry First Nation, Métis, or Inuit, but urban Indigenous for people who are non-registered but are in fact Indigenous. They have an option, and really just fleshing out whether those additional answers should be at the top or if it should be because if for them to identify as urban Indigenous, they would actually have to select First Nation.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, so I feel like, sorry, John, it would make the most sense to be up there with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit.
Okay. I just think even the question itself, when filling it out, people might stray away from, do you identify as First Nation? So like if you're, because there's a lot of First Nation out there that don't even have their status cards and stuff. So I was wondering if that even affects your eligibility or stuff like that.
It doesn't affect your eligibility. But it's my understanding, John, is that it is information that needs to be captured. So, but the good thing is, these are opportunities, like this forum is a place for us to provide that feedback. And I see like session over session, John, that this has like more things to review and stuff. So that's great.
Which is wonderful.
Sorry, I'm not to interrupt, but are you
Please.
suggesting maybe that the question is actually like, do you identify as First Nation, Métis, Inuit, or Urban Indigenous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like, yeah. I don't know.
Having it captured as at the kind of like
Before you
but
get
at the
into
entry
it.
kind of, yes, I see. Yeah. So as kind of the capturing it in the first question, as because I think the question is when it is defined as First Nation, Métis, or Inuit, an urban Indigenous person may not identify as like a First Nation individual. So maybe it's
Absolutely.
still a little narrow, the three categories.
No,
Yeah.
that's
That's my
folks.
question.
that's great. Well, that's amazing feedback. Thank you. And I can say absolutely, whether you say yes or no, it is not impacting your eligibility. Although for criminal matters, it avails you to GLAD-do coverage that your lawyer subsequently has to write in to get that coverage. But the mere fact that you have self-identified immediately just gives the coverage. Where if you haven't self-identified and your lawyer's asking for GLAD-do, the system is kind of like, well, hold on, that's not reconciling. And we will, if the lawyer indicates that, of course, my client is Indigenous and they didn't, for whatever reason, self-identify, which we understand happens, we will make that change. It's just a little bit more time and effort to make that, facilitate that change. But we want to make this as comfortable, seamless as possible, most inclusive as possible. So if adding urban Indigenous is meaningful and will get more people identifying in that manner, I think that's fantastic. I think there was another hand up at one point. I'm not sure if that was still the case or a chat
Thank you.
came in. Oh, thank you.
I think Janessa just mentioned in the chat that she was stepping away for a moment.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's what it was, John.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi,
there's
John.
a question.
Chelsea?
Chelsea has her hand up.
Sorry.
Hi. Yeah, I just had a question. Sorry to change the subject a little bit. Just
No.
going back to the page where you mentioned where you had custody written down instead of decision-making responsibilities.
Yep.
And you said, which makes sense, a lot of sense, just for user experience and how most
Yeah.
of us, go by custody. I'm just wondering, on like actual court order documents, have they also changed it back to custody, or does it still say decision-making responsibilities? Because I'm just wondering, like for a user that already has a court order in process, if they have decision-making responsibilities on their document and then come back to this platform and then see custody, does that create a confusion? And if it does, is there a disclaimer that kind of breaks down, okay, decision-making responsibilities prior to this was known as custody? Like, is there a disclaimer kind of breaking that down for the users?
That's a great question. So I'm going to let Catherine jump in on what the court document stipulate to give us that answer.
So I think
mhm.
Go ahead, John. I think the point is that they're pointing at is that the person may be switching back and forth. They could even know that it's now called decision making, but their old order might say custody on it. And so, but I think in answer to your question is the current documents are all decision making if you're issuing a new application. But you're absolutely right. An old order could have and I think the hover button though solves it in the sense that we often identify everywhere formerly custody or also known as, or options, so that we try to give everybody a sense. But as we've already agreed, they don't always hover, and gain that extra information perhaps it's the challenge, right? Did that answer the question?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think if there's a disclaimer on the platform explaining that, then yeah, that's perfect.
So yeah,
Thanks
that's
for...
our question mark process. Well, okay, thank you.
Perfect, thanks.
Awesome, great questions. I don't know if it's Denise has her hand up.
Yes, well,
Hi.
my coworker. You mentioned GLAD-do. Could you elaborate on that? I just caught the last word when you said GLAD-do.
Absolutely.
What was the purpose of that?
So, GLAD-do coverage provides the certificate lawyer, forgive me, I can't remember how many additional hours to prepare the GLADU submissions. So,
Oh, that's for criminal. Oh, okay.
just criminal, correct?
Yes.
It's
Okay. I
absolutely
was
criminal
wondering what it had to
proceedings.
do with family.
It doesn't. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
right. It
okay.
does not.
That's
Yes.
clarified. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Great point. Sorry if I'm causing any confusion there. So I'm just going to advance because I know everyone's worried. I'm always tune up all the time in these meetings. I apologize. So race-based question, you can see here, opposed to the self-identifying question that we just had, they have the option to say don't know, which we want to include, or unsure, and prefer not to answer. And here are all the other options that are available. Just for consistency's sake, we self-identified earlier, so we'll just continue for this client in the same manner. Now we're on to the financial stream of questions for the client. What best describes your living situation? So again, we have these hover over question marks that gives the definition of what legal aid. When they say renter, this is what they mean. When they say non-paying boarder, this is what legal aid interprets that to mean. So what best describes your situation? I'm just going to select renter. Family size, same thing. They have some details here, what family size is. They can use the arrows, or they can just simply type in whatever is applicable for them. How much do you have in liquid assets? What do you mean by liquid assets? Again, definition is here. So they can just type in whatever is relevant to them. Is anyone helping you complete the application? So if they say yes, there's a list of individuals, kind of categories, who is helping. And for individuals that are helping, you can enter a full name, you can enter your first name, phone number, it can be the office number, doesn't have to be your personal number, and email can be whether it's like a general inbox or your own email, it's fine. Either or.
Oh, sorry, John, I think there's a question.
Thank you.
Me again. For the asset question,
yes,
in our area, we have a lot of Robinson here on treaty payouts, and there's been a lot of unsure answers. Sometimes I call into legal aid. Right. They consider it an asset. I heard they're not supposed to. We're not really supposed to get into it. But when I am helping people apply, is it considered an asset, and do you disclose it?
Fantastic questions. I know someone's diligently looking up in the background as I stall for an answer. I don't have the answer for you right now. I'm, again, similarly to the lien question, I'm almost positive that that is something we cannot pursue. We're going to look that up, and if we don't have the answer right now, we're definitely going to be coming back to you on that.
Okay. Because I've had a few people apply under this understanding that it shouldn't affect anything, and then it did, and then now we're in a whole different situation, a whole different ball game, not getting legal aid's help. So
that's tired. Forgive me for my ignorance. How much money would that be approximately? What is the norm? Like, is there a set amount people might be receiving?
So there's 21 First Nations that received it, and each First Nation had their own discretion as to how they were dispersing payments.
Okay.
So everyone's was different. Not sure. Some people got a lot, some people didn't, some people they were breaking it up. So a lot stayed with the community.
Sorry, Martha. I've actually had this experience, and you don't have to disclose this. That.
Okay.
Would it be helpful though if John, like if LAO is able to provide us something like as a follow-up, a response, and then we can share that if it comes up with other Friendship Center staff, that then we'll have something from LAO kind of outlining.
Definitely. That
would be wonderful.
And
that
of course,
would be very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and we need to get that answer to yourselves, and of course get that readily accessible for our staff. So when it's important when that's said, like it isn't, oh, I have $27,000 in the bank. It's I have 27,000 coming from this place. If we decide that it's necessary to disclose or not, that's something we'll work out. And then in turn, they're going to look it up in our knowledge information management system and see, oh, okay, thank you for letting us know. Note taken. We're not going to pursue it.
Right, because a lot of our, like us frontline workers, we get into that conversation where it's like, okay, so if we're all on the same page, that would make it a lot easier.
Fantastic. This is exactly why we have these sessions. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And I know Carla just typed something into the chat, which I just can't readily get to, but I think there's a response there for us.
Yeah, she did basically put excluded assets.
Yeah.
Right.
So anything from day schools, 60 scoop settlement, land claims, mercury poisoning settlements, or any other settlements received by Indigenous peoples from the government are excluded.
So I still think if it is possible though to have maybe an updated kind of like direction, because that's a great flag.
Absolutely.
Thank
we'll
you.
definitely, we'll speak with Fallon and get that for you guys for sure.
Oh yeah, we're meeting with Fallon in a couple weeks.
Oh, lovely. Fantastic. She will be all over this immediately. Okay, so of course I indicated I was on OW, so I put in my OW number. This is kind of hover over. Every jurisdiction has a different check stub format layout, but everything has a member ID. So that's where they get it. Or of course they could upload an image of their check stub to satisfy that requirement. Click next. The processes, this is going into our lawyer page. We're gonna, there we go. So do you have a lawyer? So if I say no, this is where Jackie was mentioning earlier. This is our find a lawyer tool. So I'm just gonna click here and fingers crossed. It takes us to our external website. Okay, so this is a find a lawyer tool. And if I put in St. Catharines postal code, I'll just expand the distance a little bit and filters here. So this allows the client to select the meaningful type of law that they need. So we're doing a family law matter, so we'll do that. And if language was an issue, they have the opportunity to select whatever language. There are Indigenous languages that are not captured on this list at this time that will be added. This is something, again, an enhancement, but it's also incumbent on the lawyers to indicate their ability to speak that language as well. Because this is what this is, that the lawyer has the ability to service the client in this particular language. So with that being said, I'll click, I think that search might be hidden for me. Apply filters. So we now generate, and this is a randomized list. So if I pick downtown Toronto, so I have 12 lawyers in this jurisdiction. There's Google Maps appearing there. You can find it. And we've had, Toronto lawyers, of course, when there's 500 being pulled back, hey, my name's not on the list. It's just literally randomized because we don't want Amy Adams to be the first on the list every day. It wouldn't be fair. So we've literally randomized it, and that's how it displays. And you have the ability to click through all of them and see all the lawyers in this portion. And that's how the Find a Lawyer tool can help. And of course, if you want to expand the distance, change the parameters, add parameters, you have that. Oh, please, Denise, go ahead. I don't know if you guys are still on mute or you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, that the hand is up, but we're not able to hear. I'm not sure if you're there. It looks like you're unmuted now.
Was I muted?
No, I was. Different computer, so I didn't know what to do. Okay. If you don't have a passcode, like a lot of my clients come in and they don't have one, and they're a little afraid of technology. Sure. 2 questions I have. Can they make up their own email thing, even if the one doesn't exist, to use it on this?
So for the postal code, you mean?
Or no, for their
to create their profile, you mean?
Yeah, to create their own email, even if they don't have one. Could they just make that? And
that's
a lot of them don't.
Fantastic question, because right now, today, in theory, you could use. You're helping me create my profile. I don't have an email address. In theory, we could use your email. Now, that's something, but I'll just say legal aid doesn't love that. And the reason is because 10 minutes from now, when I'm at home and I want to log in, that 2-factor authentication is going to come to your email that I don't have access to. So, and in the not too distant future, we're going to make a rule where you could do that one time for one client, but the second time we're going to say, hey, we recognize that email. We need a new email. Okay. So if your clients, I totally understand, technology is not everyone's thing. It will be necessary whether it's their email or you help create an email that you can both access or whatever that scenario is, but an email is always necessary to create your profile. There's unfortunately, no way around that one.
Okay. The second question.
Please.
Just doing this for a number of my clients, they'll shy away from it. Like, what does this be? What's that? Is there some kind of schematic you have that would this is for this is for that? Because when you read it, even an application, you read it and they're looking at it, they're turning upside down, sideways, because they have no idea what it is and they don't know what they're doing. Is there something that can explain that in written form?
Do you mean like a guide?
Yes.
Is it the questions or just like the process is
the whole
unclear?
Process. The whole process is.
I have recorded like videos in the past. Unfortunately, they've expired now, but I know we've done it in the past with comms that we can post on YouTube, and it kind of walks you through it. Now, the thought behind that always is, if you need a video for your system is flawed. It's too complicated. But I can totally appreciate that someone's like, hey, what do you need? What's the next step? Why do I need to do this? I'm stuck on this page. 100%. Anything that we can do to help that. And if you think, do you think a written with screenshots, hey, click this will happen next? Or is it a video that they could watch and stop it and say, oh, this is my next step. Okay, I'm going to do that now. And then click play. And then, oh, that's my next step. I'm going to do that. What do you think would be more meaningful?
The latter.
The video?
No, the one before that. One. Yeah.
The written guide.
Okay. The latter. I apologize. Yes. Step by step. Okay. Okay.
I wonder though, just as like a reminder that the portal is one way to access the LAO services, right? So if some of your clients are like highly uncomfortable with technology, they could also use the assisted application process in the telephone line. Correct. So that's just something to consider as well, that maybe the portal isn't for everyone, but a great tool for those who it is, who it does work for.
Absolutely. Yep. We can, over the phone method works incredibly well and straightforward, and the questions are being asked and can be clarified. The system doesn't have that nuanced ability that our staff does to clarify things. And it's going to show you the screen and have some help text there for you. But beyond that, that's kind of where we're at. So So now I've changed my answer from no, with the find a lawyer tool populated, to yes. So have you paid your money have you paid your lawyer any money? If you say yes, it's going to want to know, well, how much have you paid? And of course, if you said I paid my lawyer $10,000 for something that legal aid would only pay them $2,000 for, there's a good chance you might not be eligible for legal aid. But if you gave your lawyer $100, that's not going to impact your eligibility anyway. So what is your lawyer's name? When they select a lawyer, this is going to produce a list of all the entire province family law roster, because we are on a family law matter. This is going to display all of them. And if you know your lawyer's name is Jones, you can, as soon as you start typing, you can see it populate there. And it will display the information for that lawyer that you selected and give the address and phone number to ensure that this is the Sandra Jones that you're looking for in Ottawa, Ontario. So then we let them know, hey, changing your lawyer is not easy with legal aid. Make sure you're picking the right one, because you have to meet exceptional circumstances to get approved for a change of solicitor. So we're going to click next, and the last page, which everyone's thrilled about, consent and declaration document. Again, read it incredibly carefully and then click accept. Click OK. It just lets you know, hey, your application submitted. Email confirmation has been sent to my email. You can also check the status of your application by visiting Legal Aid Applications Active Cases. So I click OK, and now we're on the home page. So we never have to do that onboarding thing again. The next time I log in, I'm one of those, oh, here's my client number, here's my password, and I'm in landing right here. If this was a real application, like if we did it in production, and I'm watching the time, Jackie, I know, I apologize. At 7 o'clock tonight, there will be a document waiting for me here in my documents, letting me know, because I happen to know this one should be approved, and it will be a legal aid eligibility document, confirmation of legal aid eligibility. It will tell me exactly the coverage my lawyer received. And they will see that there. Once they view it, once you look at a document, it will always jump over to the history tab and will live there going forward. Just like this consent and declaration document that we just signed is there. And you can see we electronically signed on the date and timestamp there. And just like when you get your new document, it will be living here after you viewed it the first time. Legal aid applications tab. This allows me to come back here. Oh, I have a criminal matter I need to apply for. I have a children's aid matter I need to apply for. Now I just need to click here. I'm in the pre-screening, answer the questions, submit, and I'm done. That's it. Don't have to enter my name, my date of birth, any of that. That's all finished. History tab, that just means if there was an application I didn't complete and stopped, I have 14 days to come back, pick it back up, and finish it. If after 14 days I don't finish it, it's just going to be in this history tab as read only. I can look at it, I can see what I was answering, but I can't resurrect it. I can't finish it off. Active cases, this is the this is the status page. So the application we just finished, we can see here, oh, certificate was issued and my lawyer has been notified. So within 10 seconds approximately upon submission, the system does all the validation checks. In this circumstance is like, oh, you're eligible. Oh, you have a lawyer? Great. We've notified Sandra. Sandra's got a text or an email that there's a certificate waiting for them. They can go onto their portal right now. They can acknowledge the certificate and they can start working for us right away, that they know they have coverage and everything is done. If there was something that I put in $10,000 money paid and our staff needed to look at it, this would say decision pending in the status field. And then they would check back hourly, daily, weekly, and then eventually the status will be updated to either certificate issued or refused. And then that's the way they would proceed. If they wanted to make a eligibility review, they could do that. And then the decision again could change after that. They have the ability to upload documents if necessary. If they called and said, hey, we need your bank account and your pay stubs, this is where they can come onto the portal, click finance in those circumstances, enter, pay stubs and bank accounts, and attach a file, upload it. It'll come into your file, into the client's file, go into a work list. One of our staff will pick it up, process it, and help determine eligibility for the client. And then here, the history tab for them will just be all the documents they've ever uploaded to Legal Aid. My profile gives them the option to update any of their personal information, excluding the only things that we can't let them change via the client portal is their first name, last name, and date of birth. You'll see once this finishes processing, those still have the padlocks on there. We can't change those. You need to call us. But everything else, my immigration status, I can change. I can change my address. I can change my phone number, save it. It will retain the previous information and add the new information as the primary information. And of course, there's the option to change the email address by just clicking change email. And there's just a validation, that same validation process we went through earlier. And we have the resources, find a lawyer tool, satisfaction survey, FAQs, a glossary, and of course the language to flip between English and French at any time. And I apologize for taking so long, and I'll stop talking.
All right.
If there's any questions, let me know. Sorry.
So we're getting to the end of our time with you. It was great. We had lots of questions, so that's awesome. We do have a couple more things to cover. I'm not sure if we want to continue or we can regroup another time. Or I could just continue.
Yeah, folks, maybe if we just continue since we're here and if folks need to drop off, they can, but we're recording it. So
yeah,
perfect.
Can distribute the recording.
That works. So anyone who has to leave will get the balance from the recording. Perfect. I'm going to speak to the assisted applications process, which Hayden has already previewed and mentioned earlier as one of the options, which was nice. This channel offers a select internal and external service providers the ability to fill in a form that they complete with the applicant who's seeking an initial application for the legal aid certificate. The channel is available in English and French, and it could occur in another language because the person who's the facilitator filling in the form may be able to be the intermediary and do the translation. As well, the service can occur outside regular business hours when service providers may be offering evening services or other options. On average, we're receiving about 1,818 of these assisted applications or these forms a month now as a process. It provides some of our most vulnerable clients with access. The applications are processed by our staff through the information received on the forms that are submitted to a centralized mailbox. The processing takes, as our posted process response time, 3 to 5 business days, but many are completed in much less time than that. The eligibility is determined in the first instance by the staff reviewing the form based on the content of the form. So training is offered to those completing the forms, and this is essential to ensure that sufficient information is provided. Lawyers are using these forms to help those that may have low literacy skills, live in communities without access to the phone or the internet, or may just have difficulty traveling to offices. Also, they may not be comfortable with using technology, or they may not have access to the phone or a computer. Also, we're finding that they're very helpful for those that are involved with youth matters, what we call Section 25 orders at court, and it can expedite those. Like the portal, this service is offered to those who have a fixed income. Someone's in the courthouse. OW, ODSP, no income, or are new to in Canada or are in custody. The coverage is available for criminal matters, child protection matters, family law where there's domestic violence declared, and for immigration and refugee matters. The assisted applications option is limited to the approved stakeholders who have received the training and the overview of the program. Currently, that's our roster lawyers, our duty counsel, any of our staff lawyers, including both our criminal and family senior counsel program. Our Bridges duty counsel lawyers also use the form. The Office of the Public Guardian and Trustee uses it. Our mental health court workers have access access to the form. And there are some Indigenous friendship centers that have also had the training and use the assisted application form. I'm just going to jump on and pass along, and we can save any questions up for the end, hopefully.
Okay, so talking about in-person services, I'll focus on services that are available for family law and criminal matters in particular. However, there are a variety of local services available under the certificate coverage areas. So for family law, LAO focuses on supporting survivors of domestic violence through our 2-hour family violence authorizations, as well as scheduling and the facilitation of legal aid mediation and settlement conferences with counsel. And we also focus on roster management to ensure specialists in family violence take these types of certificates. So legal aid prioritizes individual vulnerabilities and is committed to ensuring our services are easily available to these specialized groups. We recognize that the most vulnerable are at risk if they face challenges that prevent them from accessing our services through phone, website, or through lawyers. So for this reason, while it's not the primary access channel, in-person assistance remains available when required. In addition, an individual in need of help at a local office or in court will always be served by connecting them with services or help with a specific case. So local staff are attuned to clients' needs and respond promptly, taking a hands-on approach to work with the judicial partners to make sure that we can, where possible, expedite services. Staff are available in local courts and offices to provide in-person assistance in connecting people to various services when necessary. In-person access channels are available for those who have various challenges that make accessing legal aid services through the phone or the portal channels very difficult or impossible, or if there's a risk to safety. And then on to the next slide for duty counsel services. Duty counsel lawyers are available on the day of a client's family or criminal proceeding, and in some instances may assist a client when they go before the judge. Duty counsel cannot represent clients in court cases on an ongoing basis the way the certificate lawyers do. Duty counsel do not work for a client before the next court date, but can provide advice and guidance at a specific court event or provide information about how to get ready for a client's next court appearance. So if clients are financially eligible, duty counsel can assist with the following. For family law, duty counsel can assist with CYFSA matters, emergency motions, document preparation, case conferences, family responsibility office matters. They can provide public legal information and referrals to other agencies. And then for criminal law, some of the services duty counsel can assist with are providing general information about the law forms in the court process. They can help negotiate releases and conditions, bail hearings, and consent releases. They can provide legal advice, attend administrative court appearances and Crown resolution meetings. And then for these services, the types and times of these services may vary by location due to staff resources that are available. Services are offered in person or virtually in English and French with free interpretation and other languages as well. So there is more information about Legal Aid Ontario's Duty Counsel services. If you visit our website under the frequently asked questions, there's a tab that will say criminal or family duty counsel services, and you can look it up there as well for more information. And then I'll pass it on to whomever's doing the financial eligibility piece.
Thanks, Alex. So we're just going to move on to our financial eligibility. So this is new. LAO is expanding services to provide legal aid to more low-income Ontarians and support the goal of reducing backlog in criminal courts. So the first increase took place on March 3rd. So that's the increase in duty counsel eligibility. So clients who make $45,440 or under will qualify for duty counsel services. And as of March 31st, criminal certificates are available to legally eligible clients who make $45,440 and under annually for family sizes of 4 and $50,803 for family sizes of 5 or more. Clients can have up to $15,000 of liquid assets regardless of family size. So with regards to the duty counsel eligibility, that also includes the summary legal advice program that we talked about earlier. So these increases are reflective to updates to all service channels, including the client portal, particularly as it relates to assets. So currently the scope remains the same for client eligibility for online applications, so those clearly eligible clients. And clients will still need to call the contact center if their income type is outside of these parameters. So the increase to criminal certificates and duty counsel is expected to help an additional 180,000 people each year, particularly those most vulnerable when navigating the legal system without representation. LAO will monitor and evaluate the impact of this targeted financial eligibility increase. And legal aid's expansion to its financial eligibility thresholds will be in effect until the spring of 2028. And legal aid will consider other areas of expansion once the organization has evaluated the impact of this targeted eligibility increase and its available resources.
Sorry, Jacqueline, can I just add, or sorry, ask, will the evaluation findings be shared publicly?
That's a good question. I'm sure they will.
Okay.
I don't.
You
I
don't have to know.
though.
Yeah, I'd just be curious. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so I'll pass it over to Carla.
Thank you. My call has been freezing, so I'm leaving my camera off to increase my bandwidth, and hopefully I won't freeze while I'm speaking. The Criminal Senior Counsel Program complements the work of the Ontario Private Bar by filling identified service gaps. Our criminal lawyers serve legal aid's most vulnerable clients up to and including full trial representation. The types of cases senior counsel can take on include negotiation and advice, trials, complex pleas and sentencing, NCR and ORB hearings, special bails and bail reviews, appeals, and extraordinary remedies such as habeas corpus. The program is a referral-based program. Our primary referral source is duty counsel. However, we do accept referrals from other stakeholders. Criminal senior counsel follows the duty counsel financial eligibility test for eligibility to our program. We also look at case eligibility. Where jail is not probable, our criteria is whether the client is vulnerable and or facing secondary consequences, and the matter is considered complex or outside the scope of duty counsel assistance. Where jail is probable, we consider whether the client is vulnerable and or facing secondary consequences, or the client is certificate eligible but unable to obtain a lawyer locally. They could be a returning client or experiencing significant vulnerabilities. In some cases, senior counsel may be a potential option when a client has been refused a change of lawyer. When we say the client's vulnerable, we mean they may have mental or physical health issues, addiction issues. They could be Indigenous, racialized, or from other priority communities, or they might be a victim of domestic violence. Secondary consequences might mean family law or child welfare repercussions, housing consequences, or employment or education ramifications. Cases can be referred to senior counsel at almost any stage of the accused proceedings and carried through until completion. I'm trying to be aware of time. So are there any questions? I know it's just a very brief, high overview. No? Okay, then I will pass it on.
Thank you, Carla. The Family Senior Counsel Program will connect dedicated family senior counsel lawyers with family law and child protection clients who may face unique challenges with receiving legal services through the traditional certificate program. The mandate of the Family Senior Counsel Program will include representation of clients who are significantly vulnerable with complicated legal needs that require additional support. Certificate eligible clients will receive full scope legal representation for their family or child protection matter through all stages of litigation, up to and including a trial or a judicial dispute resolution hearing. Legal services will also involve assisting clients in family dispute resolution processes and supporting them throughout the non-litigation phase of child protection matters. Who is eligible to receive family senior counsel services? Clients that are legally and financially eligible for Legal Aid Ontario's certificate program but cannot find a lawyer to represent them in a location where the program offers legal services may be referred to the program. As a reminder, the mandate of the program includes representing clients who are significantly vulnerable with complicated legal needs. This includes clients who have not been able to secure counsel locally through the certificate program or other LAO services, or have exhausted their options for changing lawyers. I'll throw it over to you, Jackie.
All right, so that concludes our session today. Thank you for holding on. If you have any questions, please reach out to our external relations mailbox. So that team will direct any questions to our team. Please continue to share your clients' experiences and thoughts on the access channels we've shared with you today. The feedback really helps us improve the functionality and overall experience. So I have Moyo who'll share a survey to let us know how we did today. Really appreciate your time today, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Yes, thank you everyone for attending, and thank you LAO for giving us another walkthrough presentation. That was helpful. And yes, if anyone does have questions about the senior counsel programs, feel free to reach out to LAO, or you can reach out to Janessa or I at the O5C, and we can facilitate some knowledge exchange or question and answers as required. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.